All right, good morning, folks. We're on the record in the 53rd Circuit Court for the County of Cheboygan, and we are providing public access to our criminal docket, both in the courtroom and also online. And first up this morning, we have a probation violation sentencing in People v. Felicia Carney. It's filed 25-6977FH. Counsel, you want to state your appearances, please?
Melissa Goodrich, Cheboygan County Prosecutor.
No, Nightingale for Ms. Carney, who appears in person in custody to my right.
Okay, good morning. And Mr. Nightingale, have you had a chance to review the probation violation report with your client?
I have.
Do you have any additions or corrections?
No.
The guidelines at the initial sentencing were scored at 10 to 23 months. Any reason to revisit that scoring?
No.
Ms. Goodrich, any additions, corrections, or scoring challenges from the people?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nightingale, anything you want to say on your client's behalf?
Of course, Your Honor. So I do have a letter on behalf of the county written by Pastor Jones in the jail.
And give me a chance to read it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I've had a chance to review that letter. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you, Judge. So Ms. Carney is here before the court for sentencing on probation violation. We did have a prior non-technical violation in which Ms. Carney was continued on probation by this court. I believe April of this year. No, that was last year, I believe. Anywho, she's before the court again here on a series of technical violations that stem from a misdemeanor case filed currently in Traverse County. She was staying here for quite some time. She did move as part of her probation. She felt like she did not have the support that she needed here, and I think that's fair to see by what she was going through. She had a lot of housing instability. She unfortunately she did have good mental health services here, and so we sort of exchanged one for the other when we moved. We gained housing stability, at least through the shelter for the meantime, and we lost that access to those mental health services for some time. I believe this is a situation where Ms. Carney was likely self-medicating with alcohol. She further was taking lithium for a short period of time before she actually moved. Essentially went cold turkey off of lithium, and that is absolutely awful for a human being to go through. It's first not safe medically, and second can cause a whole host of aggravated mental health concerns that I believe that Ms. Carney was probably experiencing down there, and which certainly led to her arrest on a misdemeanor case. That is still pending, and so I don't want to make any more comments about that at this time. However, I do believe that that's certainly an explanation, not an excuse, but an explanation for what's going on with Ms. Carney. We did explore sending Ms. Carney to recovery court in Traverse City, and unfortunately right now they do not have a recovery court coordinator, and so they are on a huge wait list and we're unlikely to accept the transfer anyway. And so I believe that Ms. Carney is trying to get into services, that she has been for some time, that other than the prior misdemeanor case that she had already resolved in district court here, and these violations before the court, she was for the most part being successful otherwise. I mean, she was for the most part dropping negative for both drugs and alcohol as a term of probation. She was ordered to do scram monitoring for 30 days and successfully completed that with no violation. Ms. Carney, I think, is mostly disappointed in herself that she wasn't able to complete this sentence successfully. Her youngest kid actually turns 18, I believe, this Saturday. And so she is in the process of ideally reestablishing that relationship, but she has a lot of mixed feelings about it. She sometimes thinks that she's better for her kids just to stay away from it. That's got to be a terrible place to be. But I think that Ms. Carney is sort of reevaluating where she wants her life to be headed. She wants to be a positive influence on her children. She doesn't want her children to have to go through the same things that she's gone through. And not to rehash a bunch of her history, but I'm sure the court's aware that she has a very traumatic prior history.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that, and I've had dealings with Miss Carney. I think my first dealing with her was I was the GAL for one of her kids in 2001 or something like that.
Yeah. So the court is very aware of Ms. Carney's history, and I'm not going to rehash it on YouTube for everybody, but I would like the court to consider that insofar as, fashioning a sentence here for her today. The recommendation seems, for the most part, fair and appropriate. Her guidelines are 10 to 23. County sanction would be what we're requesting today, and that's the recommendation. So that's what we're asking for. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Carney, you don't have to say anything today, but you're welcome to. Is there anything you want to tell me or no? Okay, that's fine. She's indicating. Mr. Rich, any recommendations from the people?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant did commit to 2 separate misdemeanors while on probation for this case. I think that the probation to continue would not make sense at this time, given her lack of progress. I would ask the court to dismiss unsuccessfully, and I am in agreement with the recommendation for the 1-year county jail. This is her first felony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carney, if you please stand for the full sentence. All right, Ms. Carney, this has been a tough decision for me to make, to be honest, because when probation is revoked, and I am going to revoke your probation, this is a non-technical violation. It's the second criminal offense you've committed while on probation. They both been misdemeanors, but still, the prosecutor's right. Continuing on probation doesn't make much sense. So when I revoke someone on probation, the law allows me to go back and sentence you on the underlying crime as if, what we could have done if we didn't even place you on probation. And that was a troubling one because that was, about 70 grams of methamphetamine that was hidden inside a generator in the truck when you and your husband went downstate to obtain that to come up and sell it to folks. Was pled down from the possession with intent to possession. And your guidelines were straddle cell, and I think if you had any prior felonies, there'd be no question that I'd be sending you to prison today. And I gave that a lot of thought because, that was a borderline prison case to begin with. And then while I give you a chance on probation, you commit a couple of crimes. But we have, I think I even gave you less than the agreement at the initial sentencing. Yeah, I think there was a jail cap, and I only gave you 6 months instead of the full year. So but then when I consider this is your first felony, as the prosecutor outlined, and you've got some prior misdemeanors. None of them are extreme. The misdemeanors while you've been on probation have not been extreme. I'm well aware of the history that you've gone through. You've gone through a lot of things in your life, Felicia, and some of them have been of your own making. Some of them have not. I mean, you've suffered some terrible things at the hands of other folks that were not your fault. But there's been some bad things into your life that were your fault as well. So we've got a person here with a psychiatric history, housing instability, employment instability, significant substance abuse history, with a ninth grade education. Her rights to all her kids have been terminated over the years. Honestly, the most stable thing in Miss Carney's life was probably her husband with his felony history, and I just sent him to prison for 7 years a year ago. So, he was probably the most stable thing she had going. And so I have very little hope, Felicia, that you're going to keep yourself out of trouble. The best thing you can do is stay connected with mental health services.
That's what I plan on.
Yeah. All right. So I think on the whole, this being the first felony adjudication, I'm going to follow the recommendations from the department and the attorneys and the prosecutor today. Revoke your probation and order you to serve 1 year in the Cheboygan County Jail. Give you credit for 315 days that you've already served. And on the judgment of sentence, will reassess any fines and costs that were previously assessed and the amount of any unpaid balance. Because I am revoking your probation, then, Ms. Carney, you can file a petition for appeal, an application for appeal. If you wanted a lawyer, I'd appoint one for you, but you have to ask me within 6 months. So we're going to hand you a couple copies of your appeal rights right now and ask you to initial one copy for us. The other one's for you to fill out if you want to take an appeal to your appeal rights here. Okay. All right. Good luck to you.